Welcome back to HPP, the podcast that talks with tomorrow's hoop stars. I am Rich Harrison. Thank you for joining us again. Today is going to be a continuation of our Mountain West preview, and we're going to have two guests that are not only all conference candidates for this season, but also Player of the Year candidates, I believe, in the Mountain West. And they also both play for two of the top teams in the Mountain West. And I'm speaking of Omar Stanley of Boise State and Ian Martinez of Utah State. So we'll just jump right into those interviews and let them roll. Today's special guest is Boise State senior forward Omar Stanley, an all Mountain West selection last season. Omar averaged 12.7 points, 6.6 rebounds per game, while shooting 54% from the floor. In terms of metrics, he ranked in the top 10 of the conference for block percentage, rebound percentage, offensive rating, defensive rating, player efficiency rating, and plus minus. Welcome to the show, Omar. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, pleasure. Excited. We had Tyson on last year, and so it's funny, when you look at you guys' statistics, they're pretty close in a lot of departments. But anyway, how was your summer? Did you do anything special?
I didn't. So I had surgery in May. So last year I played with a broken foot the whole year, and so
no way.
I was just trying to recover from that, kind of get right. I was able to go home for a little bit longer, just trying to recover. And so that gave me some extra time with my family. On top of that, I was just trying to add to my game once I was able to get back. So it was a pretty chill summer. I didn't do too much. All
right, how you feeling? How's the foot feeling?
It feels good. It feels good. I've been able to practice consistently. I've been able to take care of my body more than ever. Now with this, being a senior, I've been able to kind of just watch over the years what guys do to kind of, stay consistent. And, so health's been really, really important. Getting treatment and doing all those little things have been really, really important for me. And it's been paying off. So.
Alrighty. I had surgery this spring as well on my spine though. So.
Wow. How'd that go?
I feel better than I have in 30 years.
Wow. Congratulations then.
They fused two of my vertebrae together. One was unstable, and so they put these metal clips. They're like kind of like U's.
Yeah.
And they connected two of them, and I don't have that movement anymore, and I'm not nearly as much pain. I swear to God, I feel like I'm 30 again.
There you go. That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
All right. So you were born let me make sure I have this right. You were born in Houston, went to high school in Branson, Missouri at Lincoln Prep, but your hometown is Overland, Kansas?
Yeah, so I was born in Bay City, so Houston area, not particularly Houston. I moved around a lot, but I went to high school in Kansas City. My first 2 years I went to Hogan Prep in Kansas City, Missouri. And then my last 2 years, I went to Blue Valley West, which is on the Kansas side. And so after that, I post-graded. And so my post-grad year, I went to Link Year Academy before coming to St. John's.
Okay. Yesterday we were supposed to talk and we didn't get a chance, but knowing you're from Kansas City, I had my Chiefs hoodie on.
There you go. Oh, man.
Just for you, but had to change up. So out of high school, you chose to go to St. John's in Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah.
Was there a culture shock when you went to New York City?
A little bit. I feel like if you haven't really lived in the East Coast, you kind of don't really know what you're getting yourself into. I would say I compared, and I haven't been to a lot of different countries, but I compare New York and Manhattan, the five boroughs to kind of just like being in a different country. You know what I mean? I definitely enjoyed it there. The diversity there was amazing, and the people there were great. A lot of East Coasters can be a little straightforward, but that's the one thing you love about it. You know what I mean? Everybody has a goal and a dream out there, and so yeah. I've
lived close to the city pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
By the way, I forgot. I have my Kansas City Chiefs mug.
All right. There you go. Go Chiefs. That's what I'm talking about.
So I suppose going to Boise, Idaho couldn't be more different from New York City. And you're right, New York City, I've been to a lot of cities, in this country and out of this country,
Yeah.
and nothing is like New York that I've seen.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
like New
right.
York City. It's just so massive.
It is. It
You
is.
know,
Yeah, there's so many people out there. Like, people don't even abide by traffic laws out there. You know what I mean? Which is like, it's crazy to me. It's like, wow, like, are we really, you know what I mean? Like, the Ubers all crazy, the taxis are crazy. But that's kind of what makes you love it. And you kind of find out, where people, because I was able to play with Posh, Julian and Joel, out there. And so just you kind of get to see, where these guys come from and how they get their grit. You know what I mean? And so it's
yeah.
been huge. It's been huge to see, and I was definitely grateful for my time out there.
So, when you chose Boise, what was the deciding factor there?
It was mainly being able to get the opportunity to kind of display my skill set a little bit and to be able to grow as a player. But not only as a player, but as a human as well. You know what I mean? I kind of compared. I was doing compare and contrast of Boise and New York, and Boise is way more slowed down. Obviously, you know about it. New York is so fast paced, and I was going into it fresh out of high school. It's kind of like, okay, how do I, you try to figure out who you are as a person, which is what college is really about. And so I feel like I've been able to do that more here in Boise. And uh, but my first reason was become a better person, but secondly, and definitely not least, but just to be able to grow my game and expand my skill set and kind of just show everybody what I'm made of.
Right, right. Um, I don't want to dwell on this because maybe it's a sore subject, but I gotta ask.
Yeah.
You know, that St. John's team when you left, I mean, was loaded with talent,
Yeah.
loaded. And Rick Pitino chose not to keep anyone but Joel.
Mm.
Um, what are your feelings about how that whole thing went down?
Yeah, shout out to Joel. I talked to him last week. I was congratulating him on his exhibit 10 with the Charlotte Hornets. But yeah, at the end of the day, college basketball is a business. You know what I mean? There's a lot of politics in it, and Pitino chose not to stick with the guys that were there, and he had his reasons, and it was for. It might have been a blessing in disguise for the guys that left. You know what I mean? We have David Jones that ended up going to Memphis, and he's in the NBA right now. You know what I mean? Joel was able to stay there and kind of have his own team. Posh ended up doing great things at Butler, and so the guys that left I didn't really look at it as a bad thing. I kind of looked at it as a blessing in disguise when everything kind of flipped over there. Everybody was kind of able to go their separate ways and kind of do what they wanted. You know what I mean?
And actually probably do better than they were. I mean, you were a prime example. You flourished last season.
Yep.
So, all right. It all worked out in the end, and you had a career season last year.
Yeah.
What were you most pleased with last season about your game?
There's a few things, you know what I mean, and I'm really hypercritical of myself, and I've been getting better with that. But I feel like I should have been doing that. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like, okay, I kind of feel like I haven't even reached my full potential yet, and obviously I haven't. And I'm nowhere near that. But a few things I would say I'm proud of is kind of the mindset going into it. You know what I mean? I never really was in this situation in college, and so going into it, there's a lot of pressure on your back coming from St. John's, and wanting stepping into that role of being one of the guys. So I guess being able to handle that, I would say I'm proud of myself of, because in the past I would say I would kind of dwell under pressure, but there's a great support system around here that kind of helped me grow and flourish in that role.
Okay. In the off season, is there anything in particular, that you weren't pleased with last season that you focused on improving, or did the surgery
Yeah.
just not really allow you to do that?
No, surgery definitely allowed me to do that. I was kind of limited a little bit last year with what I could do because of my, a broken foot. You know what I mean? Being able to play sports, you kind of you need your feet, right? And
Right.
when your feet are kind of uneven, you kind of get off balance a lot. And so, being able to have both my feet back and be able to kind of play up to my full potential, um, is I feel like the improvement the improvement right now with what I needed. You know what I mean? This I feel like that's all I really needed was to be able to get back right, get healthy again, get fully healthy, and that everything will take care of itself.
Okay. Like most teams, the Broncos lost some key players to either graduation or the portal. However, you guys were particularly hit hard at guard. Max Rice went to the pros. Uh, Ch- Chibozo Bago, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Chabuzo.
Chibuzo Abago went to USC. Robbie Anderson went to Xavier. Jace Whiting went to UNLV. The team did add Alvaro Cardenas, excellent point guard from San Jose State.
Phenomenal point guard, yes.
And but who else do you expect to be a big contributor this season in the backcourt?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of guys that we brought in, and not just the guys in the backcourt, but we have Javen, who's a forward. He's a forward guard, who's an NAI All American. He averaged 20 points last year, and he's about the same. He's about the same size as Shabuzo. You know what I mean? He can shoot the lights out of the ball, and he's just a dog. We have Dylan Anderson from Arizona. Big guy, big 7-foot guy, who we're super, super excited about. You know what I mean? And we even have guys that are ready to step up. Andrew Meadow, he's I know he's been ready. He's been clawing to get out to play. Chris Lockett Jr., he's been clawing to play.
Redshirt
Emmanuel, Emmanuel Ugbo, he's been clawing to play. And so we lost a lot of guys, but we've had guys that have been ready to step up. You know what I mean? Since last year, since this summer. And so obviously we appreciate the guys that are here and their time, and we don't blame them for leaving, and we don't, what I mean, there's no hard feelings, but we had guys that are ready. We have guys that are ready to step up and make big plays.
Right. I don't think you're going to get much argument, with the new additions plus you and Tyson, that you guys have the best front court in the Mountain West. This is, and probably you could match up with pretty much anybody in the country. My question is there any chance we can see some combination of you, Tyson, and Dylan on the court at the same time? With you, this is my theory. I threw this out there in the show. I said you could play the 3.
Well, the thing is, me and Tyson, we're very interchangeable. Whether he's playing the 3 or I'm playing the 3, he's playing the 4, I'm playing the 4. Our offense is kind of, there's not really a lot of positions out there. We're kind of positionless. We're positionless guys, and nowadays it's positionless basketball. And the coaches have been doing a great job of developing us into positionless players. And so it's not really 3-4-4-3, 3-4-5, whatever. We're all interchangeable. And so, but to answer your question, we have been practicing that. We have been working on it, and so there might be a chance where you get to see a couple possessions of us, all 3 of us out on the floor.
Okay. When I watched, which was quite a bit, I felt that you mainly played at the 5. It seemed like at least defensively, well, I would say you post up more than Tyson. And I would also say you ended up guarding the other team's 5 most often. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was right.
And so this year, I would think Dylan's going to be able to allow you to be more versatile and move around a little more. Yes.
Yes, and I'm definitely excited for that. One team in the pros that I looked at was, I don't know if you heard, but Miami is kind of moving Bam to the 4.
I didn't hear that.
With Kello Ware, who the guy is,
the rookie,
moving in at the 5, and so that's kind of who I look at myself as a little bit at times is Bam, and so I'll be excited to see kind of how he handles this and how I handle it this year, and kind of being able to get off the 5 and kind of move like a free safety at times.
Yeah. I got to ask you, and I said on the show, no way. They have you listed as 6'8", 240. I said, no way that guy weighs 240. He's too quick. He's too slender.
Yeah.
Do you weigh 240?
About 235, 240. Yeah. It's
wow.
it's all on my legs. You know, I got big old hands, you know, and big old feet. So it's in random spots, you know, but no, it's all there. Yeah.
You do not play like somebody who's 240, and you don't
Yeah.
look it. If somebody would say, how much that guy weigh? I'd say 220,
Right.
you know. Wow, that surprises me. So not counting yourself, Tyson and Alvaro, is there one particular teammate, and it could be one of the new guys, that you really expect to break out this season and be a force along with you three?
Yeah, I can't even. I know I'm kind of dodging the question, but I can't even say one teammate because there's been so many guys that have certain days in practice that we're like, wow, you know what I mean? All of our sophomore guys, you know, school sophomores. So like Chris Lockett Jr., Andrew Meadow, you know, Emmanuel Ugbo, like those guys have been killing during practice. And like Javen, you know, our new guys have been killing too. Javen, Dylan, you know what I mean? And so it's like there's really no drop, you know what I mean? And we even have, you know, RJ King's been playing his ass off too. So I'm sorry for my language, but he's been playing, you know, his tail off as well. So it's like there's really no drop off, and you know, there's not really no between me and Tyson and Al and the rest of the guys, there's no drop off. You know what I mean? Like every guy's been producing, every guy's been putting in the time and the work, and it's been a pleasure to see.
Has the starting lineup been set?
There's definitely, yeah, like I said, everybody's been playing super hard. There's none in place right now
Okay.
that I see.
I'm really curious on how it's going to play out. We're very
Yeah,
curious. And of course, a lot of people have been talking about Javon. A lot of
Javen,
people.
yeah,
Is it Javen?
yeah, Javen.
My apologies to Javen. A lot of people are excited to see him play. All right, so the Broncos have made the big dance for 3 straight years, but you haven't gotten past the first game. Have the coaches talked about that at all? And what do you think will get you over the hump?
You know, obviously that's the elephant in the room that's been, you know, ever since we, you know, from the first year that they made it to the second year to even last year, you know, and then this year, you know, obviously it's an elephant in the room that we have to be able to get past that first round. And so yeah, it's been talked about, and you know, it's been talked about not only with the coaches but between us players. You know what I mean? And we've been discussing, you know, what are things we can do now to help us in March, you know, and hopefully in April when we have to play, you know, those games where it's sudden death, you know, it's do or die. So, you know, we practice scenarios where it's like, okay, this is do or die. You know, this is the fourth quarter, this is overtime. Like let's give it our all. You know, let's burn out. So, yeah, we talked about it a lot.
Okay. So I have to ask, Coach Rice, he always looks angry. Is he always angry?
Oh my gosh, he's the opposite of angry. You know, you get to know him. He's such a great human. You know what I mean? Great families. He's what every player would want their coach to be. You know what I mean? He's in this. It's been truly a blessing. You know what I mean? And like I said, like college basketball and college sports in general. You know, it's a business. It's political. But you know, playing under Leon, it doesn't seem like, he doesn't make it seem like, you know, it's really a family atmosphere. And that those you know, little things such as, you know, politics and whatever, those are always put second. You know, he cares about who, you know, how are you doing as a player? How are you doing as a person? You know what I mean? Are you good? You know, how's your family doing? You know, if there's, you know, if you had a bad practice yesterday, you know, like, well, what can we do to fix that? You know, is everything going on? Is everything okay? You know, outside the court, he's one of those type of guys, and you know, a lot of assistant coaches are that way, but you know, it's kind of rare to see it from a head coach, and you know, he's one of those coaches.
All right, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So lastly, you talked about coach taking an interest in you as a person. I want to know, like, what do you like off the court? You know, what types of things do you like to do? Hobbies, family, pets. Is there something that most people don't know about you, but you know, your close circle, you know, does?
Yeah. So, you know, obviously, my from Kansas City. You know, all my friends are back in Kansas City. One of my friends is in San Diego. He's in the Army. But for us to stay together, stay connected, you know, we'll play Fortnite. We'll play Fortnite almost every night. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's just one way we bond, and so me and my friends, we've grown up together, obviously, and we played basketball together since we were little. And so it's just kind of gives us a way to, still play, still be competitive, still be in that team atmosphere. So if nobody knows anything about me, it's I play for it now with my friends almost every night.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. So on the show, we penciled you guys in as one of the three teams we definitely think will make the NCAA tournament, with the other two being New Mexico and Nevada. So we got you in the tournament. You're not on the bubble. So I wish you and the team the best this season.
Thank you.
And please come back and join us again when you're going through the draft process.
Yeah.
Love to see how that's going for you.
We'll do. Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Omar.
Thank you. God bless and go Broncos.
Our second special guest today is Utah State senior guard Ian Martinez, a former four-star recruit. Ian played at Utah and Maryland before coming to Utah State last season. With the Aggies, Ian had a career year, averaging 13.3 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per game. With outstanding shooting splits, he shot 47 from the floor, 38 from deep, and 86 from the free throw line. And in terms of points per possession, Ian ranked at the 87th percentile overall and 94th in transition. Did you realize those last two numbers?
Nah, I had not checked those before.
Yeah, well, with those shooting percentages, you were bound to be pretty high. So, yeah. So welcome to the show, Ian. How you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate you, giving me this opportunity to just come and talk with you.
Yeah, yeah. So how was your summer? Did you do anything special?
And not much besides working out. I usually just go back to Costa Rica for about a week or so, 2 weeks at most. And yeah, go back, see my family, see my girlfriend, and then just get back to work. You always need a little bit of time off.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's
Yeah.
hard to just go that long with just working every day and, going through a lot during the season and off the season. So always need to take some time off.
Right. I'm glad you got the opportunity to go home. So as you mentioned, you were born in Costa Rica, and you come from a basketball family. Your dad was a assistant men's basketball coach at Utah for 2 seasons, and he spent 15 years as a player and coach for the Costa Rican national team. Also, your mom and dad started the Pro Basketball Academy in Costa Rica in 2002 to promote and develop basketball in the country. So you played high school basketball in California, however. So what was it like growing up in a basketball family? And could you take us through your timeline? Because you've been all over the map here, of your travels from childhood all the way to Logan, Utah.
And yeah, like you mentioned, I come from a basketball family. Basically, eat and sleep basketball. That's all we do. And got two siblings. Both of them, they also play basketball. Older brother, younger sister. So it's really all the family does. And, and we take pride in that. And it's just part of our life. We like to do basketball in any way, whether it's playing it or helping people within. That's the reason why my parents created that basketball academy. And as you said, we try to represent our country and just promote basketball and trying to take it to a higher level. And that's just kind of a dream of ours. It's just make it, as big as it can be in the country. And so, yeah, I think it was in 2016 when I have first got here to the US, my very first year. And yeah, so I went to California in Montebello, went to a high school called Cantwell Sacred Heart of Mary, and that's where my brother had attended his sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year, and then he was there junior, senior, he graduated, and I got there as a freshman. And when he was a junior, and so I spent 2 years there. in Cantwell, Sacred Heart of Mary. And yeah, I was also playing AAU my first year there with Air Watson Elite at the time.
Right.
That's what it was called. That's what it was called. So yeah, it was just a different transition. It took a little bit. Wasn't really playing a whole lot, but staying consistent with the work. Eventually, second year, they changed coaches at the high school, and after that, I just kind of switched everything. It was because that coach, he was kind of with the same AAU team. So after that, everything kind of like got broken up. So I ended up playing for Southern California All Stars, who it was founded by Pat Barrett, who is a guy who helped me a lot just with my experience here in the US. And thanks to him and his program. And well, I was able to keep progressing with the work that I was already doing by myself. But he gave me, a platform and to put my name out there and gave me more opportunities to develop. So after that second year at Cantwell, I had transferred to J. Sarah Catholic High School, which had a better league. Mater Dei is in that league, and they had Santa Margarita, San John Bosco, so it was better than where I was playing before, which allowed me to have more exposure as well. So with that and just Southern California All Stars and AAU, I really made a big jump and just putting my name out there, and I started getting some more offers. And my very first offer was University of Utah, which is where I ended up committing. And so I went through my freshman year after I finished my last 2 years of high school at JSR Catholic with Coach Keith Wilkinson, who he's still there as a coach. Also helped me tremendously just with everything and my whole experience here with basketball in the US. And yeah, after I got to Utah, freshman year, a bunch of things happened, a new experience, new transition from high school to college. And after that first year, they end up firing Coach Christobiak, which was unfortunate because I really wanted to stay at one spot at the time, but things happened, and I ended up getting recruited by Maryland and with Matt Brady, who he saw me in high school. I didn't get offered in high school, but he went and talked to me a couple times, and so we still had a little bit of connection. I thought it was going to be a really good opportunity for me just to go to a different place, learn a lot, and just grow my game. And because I've heard, East Coast, West Coast, a lot different. So I'm like, hey, East Coast. I have never been to the East Coast. Let me see what it's like. I think it's gonna help my game. So I went to Maryland. Once again, a lot of stuff off the court happened, which you can't control.
Right.
So when I got there, I had torn my meniscus, coming off a really good end of my freshman year. I was really motivated and just by everything that was going on, talks, and it just my name out there. And as far as, me as a prospect, I was just really motivated. And then that happened and put me down a little bit. And to top it off after that, Coach Turgeon, who was the coach at the time of Maryland, ended up leaving before we started conference play.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was just kind of a bad mix.
It's about 5-10 games into the season, right?
And yeah, we had played preseason, and before we were going to play Northwestern, which was our first conference game. And like 3 days before that is we got the news. So once again, unfortunate, but I like Coach Surgeon, but it's just, it happens. Stuff happened. And during this journey, and yeah, finished off the year, wasn't the best one. And after that, we got another new coaching staff. That's also my fourth coach. So going into my third year. And once again, just adapting to new system, to new people, you know, that do things differently. But I mean, it was a good experience. Got to, you know, still just expand my knowledge about the game, seeing just the way all these coaches do things differently, and you know, it makes it less difficult to adjust when I have another new coach, which kept happening as the story progresses. So, and yep, we had a good year. Maryland made it to March Madness, which was my first time playing at the tournament. Played West Virginia, then we played Alabama. Number one that year. We lost in the second round. And then I decided to transfer again because I think I can have a bigger role on the team. And I just thought it was a good opportunity for me to come back here, Utah, where I felt more comfortable and I knew more people, and which I thought it was really important to me, taking into account that I don't have my family with me. I'm in just a different country. You know, I just want to be at a place where I can feel like home, which I think will help me on the court, just with every aspect around me, which did happen. I ended up having a pretty good year, I think.
And excellent.
And we also made it to March Madness, which that's the goal, trying to make it to March Madness and have the best run we can have as a team. And happened, you know, a lot of new guys, made a lot of good relationships, even though a lot of guys ended up transferring after that year. But yep, it was awesome. It was a great year. I'm always gonna remember it with that group of guys. It was amazing. So yep, coming to Utah State, probably one of the best things that happened to me so far. And yeah, I love it out here. And now I'm just looking forward to this year. Once again, new coach, not really new for me, but sixth coach in 5 years. And I mean, it has been great so far. I just love the coaching staff. The new guys also have done a great job just adapting to the culture that we have as a family, just having a brotherhood. And, you know, I can't wait for the season to start and for us to keep progressing and just keep getting better and better as a whole.
6 coaches in 5 years. That has to be somewhat difficult to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, never expected it coming into college. Like I said, I'm like, hey, I want to be at one spot. I want to, like, you know, really just, you know, be part of that place. You know,
Right.
I wanted to stick in one spot, like I said, and I mean, it happened the other way.
Yeah.
Kind of moved around a couple different places, but I mean, I'm good here now, and I'm glad it happened the way it happened because, you know, it happened for a reason.
Right. Getting back to Costa Rica, you know, you said you only get to go home a couple of weeks a year. What do you miss most about home?
My family, the food, my friends. Really miss the food.
Okay.
Just, you know, having that familiarity with just the environment. And I mean, here it has felt like that, you know, the more time I spend here, but since I've done a lot of changing, you know, pretty often it's hard, you know, you lose relationships, you don't get to keep them as close. So yeah, probably just that, being able to see my friends and family like every day and still do what I love.
What was your first reaction when I assume your freshman year was the first time you ever saw snow in person?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what'd you think?
it
What do
was.
you think of snow? You probably see plenty of it now up in Logan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. And you know, it wasn't what I thought, you know. It's like in Costa Rica it doesn't snow, so
Right.
you're thinking Christmas movies, you know, all this stuff. And it's like, nah, it's cold out there. Like it's crazy. You can't walk.
Right.
You can't even walk. You might slip. Like it's not all the Christmas movies, everybody's happy walking around the street. Nah, it's not that. You gotta be careful.
Yep.
So yeah.
I actually grew up in the mountains, so you know, in over here in the east, and so I'm plenty used to it. I actually love the snow, but some people hate it.
Oh,
Um,
I don't hate it. I went, what's it called? Skiing a couple
yeah,
times. I liked it. I wasn't the best, but I enjoyed the experience. But I just hate it when it's like a storm or a blizzard like that, just crazy going, which has happened only about 2 or 3 times. But besides that, I don't hate it.
right, right. Um, are you the most famous basketball player in the history of Costa Rica?
I think maybe with just like social media, and so you could say that, but I think there could be some other names that just maybe because and technology and like that, they're just not talked about enough.
Right, right. Do you have plans to play for the national team?
Yeah, after I'm
Well,
done with college.
good, good. I'm a big fan of international basketball. When the World Cup comes around, I always watch every game. The Olympics, watch every game. So hope to see you out there competing in some of those events.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
So I've been following your career since your freshman season. I mean, you came out as a 4-star, so that's immediately going to get my attention. And the one thing that's always stood out to me has been your athleticism and some of your dunks. And I'm not a person who goes on and on and like retweets dunks and all that stuff. I'm not usually impressed, but you impress me. Do you get a lot of comments about that?
Yeah, I get a lot of comments, and since high school, one of the main ones is just that it looks effortless. And my teammates they start getting used to it, as they see me every day in practice. But yeah, that's kind of the main thing. They say I jump, and it just looks effortless.
It does. It does. Have you ever had your vertical measured?
Yeah, I did in high school when I was like a junior. It was a 41,
Wow. Wow.
and so maybe it went up for a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
it was around the same place, but I I think maybe it could be highest at 43. Um, yeah, 42, 43.
Nice. Very nice. Um, so in terms of your game, as we talked about, you had a career year last year. What were you most pleased with? With what happened last year. What was the thing that you were in terms of your game specifically, not so much the team's
Okay.
accomplishments?
Okay. So in terms of just my game, I felt like sorry, my college career, I had like nobody had gave me the confidence to go out there and do what I can do. So I know like at times I'll have a couple and what's the word for this? Like well, I'll just say moments where I go for 10 points in a row. I do things like that. I get hot and, I'm able to make a lot of difficult shots. And nobody had never given me, the total freedom to just go out there on offense. I was always more of a use my athleticism to just defense. And then offense, I was never given a lot of freedom outside of, just 3-point line. If it wasn't inside, it's like, no, don't do it.
Right.
So
Right.
so I was satisfied with, just feeling more comfortable being able to do what I know I can do. And yeah, that was just kind of the biggest part for me.
Is there in the off season? Is there anything particular that you worked on that you want to get better at specifically?
Yeah, just my playmaking and reading situations better on the court. I feel like just as a basketball player, whatever level I'm on, I'm gonna have to be able to just, once again, just be a basketball player. And whether I'm playing a shooting guard or point guard, even the three, I'm not that tall, but when you're out there, you just gotta do what you gotta do and play basketball, which is defense and just making good reads, offense and defense. So I think the coaches have done a great job just going back to that and trying to teach us how to play that way instead of just always playing this strict like system, you know, just being able to go out there is five guys and playing together, reading what the defense is giving you. So I think I have benefited a lot from having this new coaching staff do that with, I mean, not only me, but the team. And that's one of my main focuses. I'm putting a lot of emphasis fixing my assist to turnover ratio.
Okay. I noticed, I was looking over your synergy numbers, obviously. In pick and roll as a scorer, you were 56th percentile. So that's around average. But when you threw in the passes, you actually almost up to the 80th percentile. So, and that was one of my questions I'm going to ask you later. So I'll hold off on that, but we'll hold that thought. So bear with me here. Last season, the Aggies won regular season championship, made the tournament for the third time in the last 4 years. The team advanced the second round before falling to number 1 seed Purdue. In the offseason, you lost Player of the Year, Great Azabor, to the portal. You lost first team All Mountain West guard Darius Brown to the pros, and sixth man of the year, Josh Uday, went into the portal. At the same time, you, sophomore point guard Mason Falstaff, and junior power forward Isaac Johnson all return. So, with the exception of you, Mason, and Isaac, who do you think are going to be the primary guys to pick up the slack for Great and Darius, who really, contributed a ton to the team last year?
And every team is different. So last year's team having Darius and Great, awesome. They're amazing players. But the team that we have this year is different. They knew more what Coach Sprinkle wanted to do and how he played, so they had an advantage with that, and just trying to take everybody else and trying to help them adjust to what Sprinkle wanted to do. Now this year we have a bunch of new guys. We have a new system, new coach, and nobody was really familiar. So I think one of our strengths with just a bunch of guys coming in is our depth. Depth that I don't think we had as deep as last year it wasn't as deep as it can be this year.
Right.
So
right.
I think that'll be one of our main strengths. And it's just we just have a lot of guys, like 8 to 9 guys, and it could be, different guys contributing every game, which I think that's pretty big when you have to scout for 8 to 9 guys that, could be really big contributors. Like, it's hard. You're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work a lot. So I think that's gonna be the biggest thing for us, and just keep just coming together, building together this team so we know how to utilize everybody's strength to our best. And that way we can be the most effective team we can be. We just use everybody's strengths and coach the system. And I think we'll be more than fine. I think we can be really good, especially with that, because, things happen throughout the season. Guys can get hurt. And, we have up and downs. Everybody has their ups and downs. And yeah, it can be good to just have multiple guys, a lot of guys, just be able to contribute.
My next question, honestly, right here in the script in front of me, my next question starts off with, the team looks about 8 or 9 deep.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. And Dayton Albury from Queens, he appears to be a plug and play option for Darius. However, Aubin, let me get this right, Gadarezzi,
Mm-hmm.
Is a different, he's a center from Stetson. He seems to be a different player than Great. He seems to be a much better rim protector, but not the same offensive force that Great was. Great could score mid-range, inside, outside. Having said that, I imagine the team is going to look different, maybe even very different stylistically this season. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct. I think we used to play a lot inside, last year, like a ton.
Right? Yeah.
And which it's not that we're not going to do that this year. We're still working on things and finding a good balance. But I mean, coach has a system and coach has a way that he wants to play. And and it's not to say that Auburn can't score down there. Auburn is a really good post player. He has really good touch, and using just his athleticism and length to always stay on the boards, I think that would be a really good thing, and for us. But like I said, we do have 8 to 9 guys that can, you know, just go all out on offensively. We have guys that are athletic. I have a bunch of guys that are athletic, which I think is better than last year from 1 to 5, and we just a little bigger too at the center, which we only kind of had great and Khalifa last year,
Right.
and like we have a lot of tall players at each position, so I think we can have a lot of different lineups. We can just mix things up and play different type of styles when we're out there, depending on who it is. We can even go small ball once again. Just have guys that can shoot, like Tucker Anderson, really good shooter. We got Fish, really good shooter. Isaac Johnson, like Isaac can play at the 4. We can have Tuck at the 3. So I think we can be really big at times, or we can play small ball other times, and just have a lot of versatility, I think.
Right. Right. Um, do you expect your role to change much? And this is what I was saying about the pick and roll. Specifically in my mind, I could envision the scenario where you're running the offense more. Um, is that in the cards, or is your role pretty much going to stay the same? What do you think?
And no, yeah, they'll use me a lot more in ball screens, and I'll still play on the wing because also I feel like I excelled in those areas, just coming off screens, and not only creating on the ball screen, but yeah, it's pretty much a lot of freedom, not always just kind of running set plays. I think we're really good in transition. Well, I don't think, I know we are really good in transition. So that's one of our biggest strengths as well. And it can be just any guy just getting the rebound and just running. So it's not that it's going to be the exact same role, but I'm gonna still try to do what I know I can do best, and on offense, and try to be better on defense. I have higher expectations in the way we play defense this year is going to be a lot different too, and it's going to be really interesting. I think very little teams play defense the way we play defense, and the way we are going to play defense. And so, yeah, with Darius not being on the team no more, he was a really big part of just how we ran the offense, and he was tremendous, just amazing with the way he orchestrated the team last year. And with him gone, you're gonna need also other guys that can do the same thing, including myself, which will be good because last year, if we only have Darius and just kind of him as a point guard, it was hard if he was tired, if he had fouls, if he was getting double team or something like that. So I think it will also be good to have a lot more playmakers like we do this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, Coach Calhoun, is the Aggies. You've had 6 coaches in 4 years. Well, Utah State's had 4 coaches in 5 years. And, Utah State has kind of become a launching pad for coaching careers. How does Coach Calhoun differ from, Coach Sprinkle?
Um, I think Coach Sprinkle is a lot more old school. I'm gonna just keep it in simple words. Coach Sprinkle was more old school, and Coach Calhoun is more just the modern basketball kind of thing. He knows how to work his way more through how things are being operated in today's day. And I don't want to say nothing that, ah, I mean, I don't want to say nothing that makes a person look bad, and I'm just gonna say that within Coach Calhoun's system, I just feel like once again it's more freedom, So that's just kind of the way Coach Calhoun is, and he gives you a lot more freedom, makes you feel more comfortable, and with you out there on the court, of course, with to a certain extent, you're not going to be just turning the ball over all the time or doing whatever. But yeah, I feel like that helps a lot with just confidence and every player being able to go out there and not have to look over the shoulder and say like, oh, he's going to take me out. Like I missed a shot. Like I'm going to the bench. So I feel like that helps a lot.
Yeah, take the pressure off. So the Mountain West, we talked about it on the show, with two of my co-hosts, and I personally projecting the Aggies as, to get into the big dance for the third straight year. Besides knowing that you won't have to face Zach Edey again,
Thankfully.
what do you think is this year's team? What about this year's team gives you? I know you talked about the depth, and maybe that's the answer. But what about this year's team gives you the encouragement that the Aggies might even go further this year, Sweet 16 or even beyond?
Yep, once again, one thing is the depth. Another thing, the way we can play defense and just the offense. Like we talked about not too long ago, the team is gonna look a lot different just in terms of what we play and what we do in offense. But I think something that not everyone has been thinking about is just the defense. It's not regular defense. It's really like I've done nothing like this before in my college career. So it has been a learning process for all the players, but I think it's going to be really good. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be really good, just different to what I think most of the teams, especially in the Mountain West, have seen. So we'll see how it goes.
And
Hopefully good, but I think those three things, just our depth is going to take us very far. And just if we continue to improve in offense and the way Coach Calhoun wants us to play, which we get a lot in transition, a lot of threes, and just the defense probably is going to be the one of the biggest factors between those three. Because if we're able to change that from last year, I think we got scored on quite a bit last year, and I think it can change a lot.
yeah, and I wouldn't underestimate Auburn either. Having a rim protector, because your big guys just weren't really shot blockers last year, and that can mean a lot sometimes, especially in college ball.
Yeah, I think Auburn can not can he's going to be a big part of what we do.
Yeah,
And this year, just as our big guy, I think he's going to be awesome.
I think he's going to be about 12, 8, and 2. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and that should be plenty, I think.
I think that's a really solid stat line, but
Yeah, maybe even better. Who knows? So
who knows? Because I mean, we only got one true center,
right.
So I think if he's able to just adapt quick to how Mountain West is, I think he can do great.
Yep. Last question. Aggies fans. Aggies fans are known for their enthusiasm and loyalty. So I wanted you to comment on that and see if you had a message for them.
They're awesome. They're amazing, and being at Utah, being in Maryland was a pretty big spot, and it don't get better than this, to be honest. It don't get better than Utah State. These fans, they're crazy. They're always here. There's not a game. There's not a time where they're just not excited.
Right.
about what's going to happen this year, and it's just amazing to see how supportive they are. So I just can't wait to get to see them again in the Spectrum. It's just I need to feel Spectrum magic again because it's crazy. It's crazy. I need it. I need to see that again. So yeah, they're amazing. I love the fans out here.
So many of the Mountain West games are on late at night, for us East Coast people. Now, I stay up, I'm a night owl, but, they don't really appreciate some of the home fan bases. I mean, Utah State's probably number one, but New Mexico, is right there.
It's good fan base. The Pit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. So, man, folks, if you're on the East Coast, stay up late at night and watch some Mountain West basketball this year.
Yep.
Ian, I want to thank you for joining me, taking the time today, and I wish you the best this season, and I hope you come back when you go through the draft process in the spring.
Hopefully, yeah, and thank you so much for having me as well, man. I enjoyed the talk.
Sure.
It was great.
Sure.
So, thank you.
So, as always, I want to thank our listeners, and I want to thank our special guests. It was great talking to both Ian and Omar. We will be back next week. We're pumping out conference previews left and right, folks. Next week, we're going to be doing the American Conference and the Atlantic 10, and we will be talking with more special guests, I believe 2 in each conference. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.